Today, why I buy gold. It's time for another Thousand Dare radio video. Oh, what a relief. If you like the shiny yellow stuff, you belong right where you are, right here, right now. And I know my watch is cheap. First, let's see who was first. Last video. I know you want to talk about gold, but this is important. Relax, would you? It's also July 8th. I recorded the watch yesterday. I'm sorry. It's 2025. I may as well add that. All right. It looks like American Silver was first. And I'm so sorry, but everyone else, well, you're last. Congratulations, American Silver. First class. Thousand Dare. So I guess I'm the best stacker there ever was. That's what my mom said. She always said, life is like a stack of silver and gold coins. You always know what you got get. All right, I'll start making sense, I promise. I buy one of these gold centenarios every 6 months. It wasn't always a horrible expenditure. I would just set aside $100 a week. Easy peasy. The last one was $4,120. It still hurts. Cheers to you, friendo. What's that now? I need like $1.75 a week. And it's not like the cost of gold has been the only thing going up. I'm having this epiphany. I need to start working on my income. I buy an old silver dollar each week as well. Some of them are nice. Some of them are really nice. If you're new here and not agitated already, you may be wondering, how did this guy get those big gold coins? He sounds like he should be making my French fries. And I could produce you some good fries. You're not wrong. I work a job anyone could do fresh out of high school. Or if you left high school maybe early. Yeah, no problem. You could do what I do. If you want to audit my journey, feel free to check out my older videos. I'm going to talk about why a guy like me buys gold. Gold is normally associated with, really wealthy or rich people or Mario. And not necessarily someone who's just a couple bad habits away from living week to week, paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. You may even be looking at this gold and thinking I'm full of crap. And I am. Everyone is. But I assure you, this was relatively done on pittance. By American standards, that is. I listen to investment channels all the time, and they say 5% of your wealth, 10% of your wealth, you should put it into gold. And that's even if you insist on buying gold, you could have less. Certainly no more than that, though. That would be reckless. Well, these 6 Mexican 50 pesos gold centenarios contain 7.2 troy ounces of gold. And I assure you, this is much more than 5, 10, 15% of my wealth. And if I had never bought Bitcoin, this would be a much higher percentage of my wealth. But that's another conversation for another day. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to talk about why gold, why I buy gold. But first, please hit that like button and expand this wealthy community of ours. There's a lot of bad actors in this space, and we need to crowd them out. So what do I mean by bad actors? Well, there's reasons to buy gold, and there's reasons not to buy gold. And they like to push those reasons not to buy gold as if they are reasons to buy gold. And I think that lacks integrity. I've seen it happen to some of my old favorite classic stacker channels. They get bit by a bullion dealer sponsor zombie, and then they become a shill, similar to a late night infomercial. They become a cheesy degradation of their former selves overnight. It's hard to watch unless you're a noob. Noobs love it. They eat it up. They get corralled to the bullion dealer sponsor, or even worse, mining company stocks. They spend way too much at the highs, and then they spend a decade angry, waiting just to get out. And many of them sell at a loss, never to return. This channel, Thousand Dare Radio, vows never to accept any sponsorships from asset providers that would incentivize biased content. If I tell you I like gold, it's not because I'm selling gold to you. If I tell you I like silver right now, it's not because I'm trying to sell silver to you. And if I get paid by someone who sells those things to plug their distribution service, well, that is a clear and obvious conflict of interest. If you agree with me, and I know not everyone will, and you would like to see a channel with 100,000 subs that will not talk to its viewers like they're 5-year-olds, and that will continue to reinvest in production value of not just gold and silver, but of wealth building and wealth having culture in general, then subscribe and hit all the buttons you possibly can. And let's take over this space with Thousand Dares like it used to be. Here's my July earnings so far. I told you today's the 8th. I'm making almost 10 bucks a day, and I'll always be transparent about my earnings. If the earnings get high enough, I'll quit my crap job, which, don't get me wrong, I'm still grateful for. After all, right now they still pay me more than you. I'll keep you posted on how fast it grows. I've always been curious what these YouTubers make. If they make a lot from YouTube and they're trying to eat their own shilling for a bullion dealer, well, that's just greed. And I say I think it's greed because I think ultimately it's going to destroy their growth. But I guess we'll see how much demand there actually is for a no-shill zone. So, why am I buying gold? Not only why am I buying gold, but why am I buying, quote-unquote, a disproportionate amount of gold relative to my wealth? Way over 5%, way over 15%. The short answer is, I think it's normal to save in gold and silver. Notice I said save and not invest. You certainly can invest in gold and silver, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just saving money, and that's normal. For most of American history, if you saved a disproportionate amount of dollars, well, you were saving in a disproportionate amount of gold and silver because the dollar has pretty much been backed by silver, gold, or both for the majority of its lifetime. The dollar is about 16 years younger than the United States. For 141 years, the dollar was a claim check on precious metals for American citizens. A claim check similar to how you can write someone a check and it's redeemable for cash from the bank. Similarly, the dollar was a check you could hand someone and they can go and claim real money from the bank, gold or silver. Actual valuable substances worthy of trade for other actual valuable substances or labor. A paper note is not an actual valuable substance. It's a promise. It used to be a promise of silver and gold, and now it's a promise of more promises. Promises from who? I'm so glad you asked. Promises from the American citizens, both the living and the unborn. That's right. You don't even need to be alive to make a promise. Someone's willing to do it for you. Even if that promise means putting you, your children, or grandchildren in debt. And for what? We've all heard what governments like to spend on. What do you think? Have you heard anything worthy of enslaving your descendants? I almost wanted to chuckle there, but it's not funny. So not only am I saving in an actual valuable substance, but you could also say this is a form of peaceful protest. And I believe it's a very powerful form of protest. If you don't think this could hurt the powers that be, then why did they make it illegal for 41 years to own it in the United States? Many countries today heavily tax it to add friction to its transactions, so it's not worth it. And if I was in those countries right now, I would pay that tax because I believe whatever you have to pay for it, that is what it costs. Maybe I'm wrong about that one. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Either way, I like this money. This is not money backed by unfair bondage of the unborn and the living. This is money backed by what already has been done in the past. This money is paid in full. 1 ounce of gold equals 1 ounce of gold. The only thing that's really changing is how many promises it takes to get some. And you'll likely always be able to get some gold for promises, so long as there is trust. How much trust do you got? If I had a lot of trust, I'd probably save more of my wealth in those unlimited promissory notes. These days, I want to hold anything but those. Remember, if you see everything is going up all around you, it probably just means you're falling, like the dollar's purchasing power, and all the prices rising around us. So I gave you some reasons why I buy gold. Quickly, I'll tell you why I do not. I don't buy gold for short-term price moves. Speculating on gold prices in the short term, especially for physical, the risk reward is just not there. That's just my opinion. And if you are a hot shot that's good at that type of thing, well, I think it's more lucrative to make moves like that in other asset vehicles. And when I succeed and take profits, well, I'll just put some of that in gold. I hope you hit that like button, friendo. You're always generous with the likes. And generosity has a way of finding generous people. It'll come back to you. It always does. Gold is a big topic. I know I missed a lot of things. Maybe check the comments and see what the thousandaires are saying. I know I'll be reading them. I want to hear what you got to say about gold. And not just the prices and stuff, but the philosophy that surrounds it and silver. And believe it or not, Bitcoin too. To some extent. If you're finding yourself enjoying the content, all you have to do to join the wealthy community is hit that subscribe button. We're going to be doing the same old thing for a very long time if we can. I'll find some ways to spice it up here and there. Well, I guess that's it. That is it! Thousandaire Radio, wicked shout. Join the pen pals. You can now write me at The Thousandaire Collector, 1700 Sullivan Trail, Suite 7, Box 111, Easton, Pennsylvania, 18040. Don't forget to include your info so I can put you on my mailing list.